Welcome aboard episode 9 Selection Sunday. We got the squad in the house. I am your host, Dun Diesel. Can I get a salute from the Army? What we got going on, boys? What we got going on, Ricky? We got Corporal back from the honeymoon. How we feeling, boys?
Feeling good. Good to be back in the States.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so how was everything, man? Give us a recap. Give us a rundown.
I mean, a 20-hour journey there and back for eight nights, 9 days abroad. It was awesome to get away, spend time with the kids, come back married to the love of my life, and so things have been good. It was a really positive trip overall. It was awesome.
Did you drive straight through?
2 nights on the first there, and basically straight through on the way back.
That's a long drive, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's both of us are driving, so it was, but I pulled the night shift for the most part.
You're a brave man, dude. Not the fact getting married, but letting your wife drive long distances, man. I just I just don't trust women behind the wheel. Call me sexist, call me an ageist. Everyone that I've drove with, not the best.
For me, it's not necessarily about woman or man. I've seen a lot of really bad men drivers, I guess. So
I just think your odds are better with a man driver. Like, obviously there is shitty man drivers. Like, we've all driven with Troy, right? Like he's terrible. But I think you have better chance of a man being a good driver than you do a woman being a good driver. Like tell me if I'm wrong. How is your wife behind the wheel?
I mean, I was sleeping for most of it. It doesn't bother me.
You're being very diplomatic saying not great.
I think because I have an older sister, I have a different perspective, so I got used to my sister driving me around, and so I'm not so partial towards women. Now, like, other people I've dated have been just trash, and I'm like, nah, I'll just drive.
If you can drive, like, it's fine. I just yet to see one that I'm like, oh, this chick can handle the wheel. Like my mom, terrible driver. Terrible.
Oh yeah, my mom's terrified me most of my life driving.
So obviously I have some childhood trauma that has just carried over into my adult power stance of women just being terrible drivers. All right, boys. We got a massive week ahead of us. We have a great show lined up for you guys. It is Selection Sunday. We are going to talk college basketball. We got some other around the league topics that we're going to hit on as well. Let's jump right in.
News of the week.
We are in our Degens on Sports segment, and we start off with around the league. Each of us pick what we think is the biggest news topic of the week, and then we end with a hot take on our topic. I will kick us off, and I'm talking baseball, boys. The weather's starting to warm up. Opening day is around the corner, and we have had a little treat compared to regular spring training baseball. The World Baseball Classic has been absolutely electric. So I want to ask the group, I know you guys are not as big of baseball guys as I am. I want to ask you, have you personally watched? And then just overall, taking yourself out of the equation, do you think the American fans care?
So I haven't personally watched myself yet, but there's a buddy of mine on my bowling team, and he's all about baseball. I think the bigger baseball fan you are, but I absolutely do think that the American fans care. Because I mean, he's totally into it. There's a couple other people we were talking to that were on the other team this week at bowling. They were all talking about it, and I actually do think American fans care. Just depends on how big of a baseball guy you are.
Yeah, and the piggyback right on to Richard there. It's something I haven't personally been had time to watch. We're getting back acclimated. Everybody's fatigued, so picking and choosing. The fact that I get to watch college basketball right now is a good thing for me. But I think that people care. I think that I saw a big uproar about beating Canada and making little brother, hasn't beat us in anything that we've competed against them in a long time. And so there is a little bit of like patronage, and I think that it's one of those things that it's good for baseball. It brings some excitement. You get the Major League Baseball players back home with their countries, and so the players you're playing against. And I think it's good for baseball overall to kind of have this right before the season really takes off.
So, I mean, I think you guys know my answer is, and it's absolutely that I have watched. The games have been intense. I can tell you that it matters tremendously to the players. The world, so the countries not named the USA. I've watched some Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, and especially when they were hosting those games during pool play in those countries, like it was absolutely insane. Like this is championship level feels in terms of energy and atmosphere from the crowd. And for the US game, so the atmosphere has also been great. I don't think it's been as wild and electric as the ones that we've saw some other places, Puerto Rico and in the Caribbean. But man, compared to this is like getting October baseball in March. This thing has turned into a really, really big deal, and it's just been awesome for definitely for baseball fans, but I just think for sports fans in general. I was talking to someone the other day, and the best analogy that I could give is this feels like Olympic level baseball, but like when we played baseball in the Olympics, no one cared on that level because we didn't have the pros and it just didn't mean as much. So this feels like what Olympic level baseball should be. This is like on par with Olympic level hockey. Like it's got that much emotion behind it. You don't get the gold medal, but I think I'm just putting this slightly below Olympic hockey in terms of the pecking order, but it's got that much electricity, that much emotion, and that much um, want and drive. And like you can tell that the players are all in for their country and they're really trying to deliver on this. We got the U.S. playing the Dominican Republic as we speak right now. The U.S. just took the 2-1 lead. We got Skeens on the bump. So hopefully we can hold on. But yeah, the one thing that is unique is, especially on the pitching end of things, like these guys aren't fully ramped up. So it's a little bit mix and match in terms of that. But Corporal, I think you nailed it, man. The World Baseball Classic is just very good for baseball. And then in a dead spot of the year before the conference tourneys and tourneys, our March Madness is really ramping up. It's delivered some much needed entertainment and intensity on the sports end of things. So bravo to the WBC. Bravo to baseball, Major League Baseball. This has just been awesome, man. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and hope that the U.S. can take it home. So my hot take is not very spicy, but it is very, very powerful, and it's that the Americans will take it home. We will continue our global dominance in sports that matter, and we will back up our Olympic hockey gold with the WBC title. You heard it here first, boys.
USA, USA.
USA, USA. Hopefully, by the time we are wrapping this up, I'm not wrong. But I won't be. I won't be, damn it. All right, Corp, shifting gears. What do you got for us, bud?
All right, so Selection Sunday is here. Who is the biggest tournament uh, snub, and who is misseeded? So, what are you guys thinking about the first look at the bracket after Selection Sunday, and what are you guys feeling as you look at the bracket and all the different round one matchups?
So I think the biggest snub, obvious, we all know it. I think is Auburn that was left out, and they put in, Miami, Ohio. But I mean, I think just they had to put him in. I don't think they could leave Miami, Ohio out, but I absolutely do think that Auburn was definitely snubbed. And then the other kind of controversial thing was that with Purdue beating Michigan today, they got um, the number one seed over Florida, and I think they absolutely deserve it since they beat Michigan. Um,
Well, no, not
uh,
over Florida. Florida got a 1 seed. Um,
the number 2 1 seed, whatever it's called.
Purdue got a 2 seed, so Purdue moved to
Okay,
the 2 line. I think
okay, then
they,
I
I,
messed that up. My bad.
yeah, I think they bumped out. I think it was Michigan State or Virginia got bumped out with Purdue winning. Um, so yeah, Selection Sunday is always awesome. Um, it sucked to see Michigan lose today, but it was one of those that you sort of like getting punched in the face right before you go into the tournament because you got to look in the mirror, self reflect, and make some adjustments and know you have to be better if you're going to be the last one standing. This is one of those weird tournaments where, like, in terms of the field, like I don't think there was a snub this year. So like the first 2 teams out were Oklahoma and Auburn. They play in the SEC. It was the deepest conference this year, but they went 7-11 in conference play. And to me, if you're 4 games under 500 in your conference, that's just I have a hard time making a case saying that you should be in the tournament.
Right.
The most shocking thing for me was that St. John's got a 5 seed. Like, I don't understand the math on that. They won the Big East regular season, they won the Big East tournament, and they get a 5 seed. And then UConn, who we know I like UConn, right? We talked about it a few shows back in terms of long shots that I think could win the title in terms of betting odds. And they give UConn a 2 seed. UConn didn't win the regular season. They got smoked by St. John's in the conference tournament title game, and yet they're on the 2 seed line, and St. John's is on the 5 seed line. So that to me, that right away, and that was the first region that was in the East. That's the first region that CBS led off with. I was like, holy shit, that's a head scratcher. Outside of that, I think for the most part, the committee did a really good job. I think this was one of those weird cut and dry years where there wasn't an egregious snub or someone that should have been in or that had a good resume and didn't get in. I think the biggest question was Miami of Ohio, whether they were going to get in or not. I think they needed to get in. You can't tell the mid majors that it don't matter if you go undefeated in the regular season. If you don't win your conference tournament, you're not in. So they didn't have any quad 1 wins, but I just think you have to go off results. They had an undefeated regular season. They needed to be in. They got in. I think that was the biggest mystery of the show. But I think they got it right.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment where the right teams got in. There's not somebody that I really feel like got totally snubbed. I think some of the seeding seems off where it's just like name driven. And some of these other teams really are up against it with their brackets. Like I I feel like Duke, being the number one overall seed, might have a harder overall bracket, and the teams that they're going to be facing down the stretch might be a higher competition. Now, it all shakes out different than we think in our mind, as we're looking at it. But
Yeah, but Duke's region is brutal, though, man.
yeah,
Like, I agree
it's
with you.
tough.
Like, you get UConn as the 2, Michigan State as the 3, and then Arkansas, St. John's 4-5. Like, man, that region, and then out west, like Arizona's path is tough too, man. So it's like, sorry, it's not St. John's. Arkansas is in Arizona's region. That was the other one that caught me. That was the shock for me too. Arkansas getting a 4. I thought they should have been a 3. But yeah, dude, I thought Duke being the overall number 1, the committee didn't do him any favors.
Yeah, Purdue jumping to a 2 seed was a weird one for me as well. Looking at that region, where it's like, okay, I mean, they got the seniors, they got the guys that have been around, but they lost a lot of games in the Big Ten that you would have, as favorites, you would have expected them to win those games.
They did beat Michigan pretty convincingly today, though, and not many teams. That was arguably that was the worst Michigan has looked today in that second half.
And there's something to be said in these conference tournaments. It's different than the actual March Madness, where you're playing 2, 3, 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
And Purdue's seen this. They know what to expect. You could tell with the rotation down the stretch, like every 2 minutes, the big guys were coming in and out. They were rotating guys. They had done this before. They knew what their game plan was, and they executed. And down the stretch, they made shots, and Michigan didn't. And that was the difference.
Yeah, I think so. So a few things. If you're going to play the conference tournaments, they have to matter, right? So Purdue needed to be recognized for beating Michigan and winning the Big Ten tournament today. So I like that the committee did that. They had Purdue as a 3. They recognized that the conference tournaments matter for seeding. They have to. If not, why are we playing them? But the last thing I will say without getting too local before we shift into the local question is you could definitely see that Michigan had tired legs, and I think that was a direct impact on the LJ Kaysen injury. They're down a guy in terms of the rotation. Michigan's basically got a 7-man rotation right now. When Will Cheddar's on the floor, he's just an albatross on defense, man. And he just hasn't knocked down the open 3 this year. So when these games get tight, you can't have Will Cheddar on the floor. So Michigan essentially has a 7-man rotation, and the 3 games in 3 days caught up with them in the second half. I think if Kaysen doesn't get hurt, he's not out. I think it's a different story, and Michigan probably wins that game today. But you got to play the cards you're dealt. And
right.
I just think Purdue had more depth today, and it showed.
Yeah, and so looking at the bracket, I think that there's definitely going to be more upsets than we saw last year. I think that this shakes out to be lower seeds will at least advance through the first round. I think Houston might have the easiest path to a Final Four out of a lot of these teams, even considering the 1 seeds. And that was like a heavily talked about team to make it far all year long. And so,
but you're a Florida boy, man. You're a Gator guy.
I definitely think Florida has a good opportunity. That bracket doesn't scare me. There's a lot of teams that are beatable.
You're a Florida boy.
Yeah, I mean, Gator chomp it. Let's go. It's one of those things that teams repeat. UConn repeated, Florida's repeated. There's teams that repeat. But there's also an opportunity for Michigan or Michigan State or any of the 9 Big Ten schools to be the first champion in, 25, 26 years. So I think there's a lot of opportunities, some fun storylines going down the stretch.
You got a hot take for us?
Well, I think that Miami of Ohio should have just been in the tournament and not had the play-in game. I think that they're not only going to be in the tournament, but they're going to beat Tennessee on opening week, and they're going to be making some noise deep into this, and maybe be Cinderella that we see dancing.
Spicy. I like it.
Spicy.
There we go. All right. Young Richard, what do you got for us this week around the league?
So, Live Golf. DeChambeau won this weekend's tournament in Singapore, which is a complete afterthought to the TPC. Will the big names follow Koepka's lead and come back to the PGA Tour and ultimately fold Live?
Yeah, so I'll jump in first here. Live Golf has become completely irrelevant. When it first launched, it had the new flavor of the week that you just wanted to tune in and see how it was going to look and how it was going to feel. The guys could wear shorts. They added a team element to it. They did a shotgun start so that the rounds wouldn't be as long. They offered concerts after the rounds finish up, and they really took it to a global level with 3 rounds. And they cut a round. So it had some like intriguing enough rule changes to where it was going to differentiate itself from the PGA Tour, but still be real golf with some of the big names. But the reality is, boys, is Koepka saw the writing on the wall. Live sucks. Live sucks. Let's just call it what it is. Live blows. Brooks will be the first of many. Bryson will follow. John Rahm will follow. These good golfers that took the big payday will ultimately follow because Live sucks. No one cares that DeChambeau won this week. We don't give a shit. I read a tea leaf. John Rahm has won or placed second in like the last 5 events. No one cares. No one gives a shit. Didn't know before I read that today. Live sucks. The PGA Tour is golf. It's where all the greats have played. The shitty golfers will try to continue to cash in on their paycheck, but ultimately Live Golf will be folded within the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I'm right on board with that. It's golf is one of those things that you kind of you watch it when you're laying around on the couch Sunday morning to see the championship. It's hard to follow. You got your guys that you follow, but outside of that, Live feels like a lot like a spring football league where it's fun, it's novelty. We watch a couple games, but then it really just fades into the sunset before it even gets started. Anytime you got money backing you, you can get the next tier guys, but you might be able to get tier 3, 4 guys to go over there for the right money and play and do those things. But at the end of the day, it's not going to have the top tier guys in like, oh, you want to talk trophies. You got Live trophies. It's like you don't. It's the PGA. That's who we think is the best. That's who the best
Yeah.
players have played historically, and to stack up against that, you have to be around a long time. You have to have the best players in the world playing, and the best players want to play for the PGA.
It's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I like that analogy, Corp, though, because this has a lot of USFL feel from the 80s, right? Like the USFL had the money. They got the big guys like Jim Kelly and Steve Young and those guys to come in like at first, and then and Herschel Walker and those dudes, and then they're like, this sucks. Like I'm going to the league, the real league, the NFL. And this is the same thing 40 years later, but with golf, in my opinion. So I love the analogy. Great call there. Interested to hear the King's take on this.
Yeah, I'm right on board with you guys. I think in like you said, Sean, in 3 to 5 years, I think it definitely will. I'm gonna say it definitely will fold. Like you mentioned, they tried to add different activities, that concerts and stuff after the rounds. Try to change it up, but still keep it regular golf. And once the it's a lot of money. I think same thing like you both mentioned. I think the once the top guys all start going back to the PGA. And once they got the tier 2 and tier 3 guys, they're still going to get, try to cash in on their money. But PGA is king, and I think it will die within the next 3 to 5, around that time frame.
Yeah. I don't see it surviving. It sucks. It's that simple. And just the majority of people think it sucks. We're 3 for 3 that it sucks, and we are not in the minority. I guarantee you that. All right, shifting gears to our local topic. So this is a Detroit-based podcast, so we want to add a little bit of local flavor every week. Our Fago local topic of the week. Fago, we are looking for sponsors. It's Selection Sunday. We're going to talk college basketball. Michigan State's path to the Final Four is now known. Which team got the tougher region? And does each team make the Final Four? If not, how far do they go?
Well, I'll jump in here and say I think that Michigan State has maybe some higher tier top talent, but how they play ball, I think they can definitely get to an Elite Eight much easier than some of these other teams that are 3 seeds. But looking at Michigan and their region in the Midwest, they may have to face teams with good guard play where they not necessarily struggle, but if you got good guards and you can move the ball up the court and you can knock down threes, having to play at Texas Tech or at Alabama, having to play some Iowa State down the stretch, like these other teams are going to be challenging for Michigan. Not that they can't overcome that. I just think that who they have to face down the stretch are teams that might have attributes that can beat Michigan. Michigan State could end up playing a North Dakota, a UCLA, or no, they would play UConn, I guess. So it would be Michigan State, UConn, and like Louisville. And so I think that they have a path for the first weekend to make it out much easier than a lot of the other teams. Michigan's path, obviously, against the 16 seed is going to be easy. And I don't think St. Louis or Georgia really have a big issue. But from going there forward, I think some of these teams that they might face could give them problems. And just from that perspective, Michigan might have a harder path to be a Final Four team as they face a team like Alabama that could have been a 1 seed if they played better, but they couldn't knock down their shots.
What do you think, Rick?
It's always been for me. I'll go with old little brother first. I think they definitely have the harder path. They got Duke in there. They have Kansas, UConn, UCLA, as Corp mentioned, and then Michigan. I'm not worried about the first couple games, and it's always been, like I said, Final Four bust for Michigan. Though the whole season, I think I brought it up a few shows ago, and I definitely think they have a kind of. I don't like saying this, but it worked out to their advantage losing today to Purdue.
Yeah, so I could not agree more with Rick in terms of this. So I think Michigan State's got a good chance and they should get out of the first weekend. I think they should make the Sweet 16. I think their run ends there. I think that's a tough region, man. Duke, the number 1 overall seed. UConn, you guys know I'm high on UConn. I think UConn is the best 2 seed in the field. That's why I don't think it makes sense that they paired them with Duke. I think Michigan's region is a cupcake. I think it is a complete layup. Obviously, they're going to steamroll the 16, whoever they play. Georgia or St. Louis is not a threat whatsoever. Michigan's going to beat them by 20 plus. Texas Tech, I like. They're scrappy, but they lost their best player for the year, and they don't have the size to compete with Michigan. So I don't think they have decent guard play with Anderson, but they're going to have to hit 23s to beat us. I think that could be a scrappy game, but again, I'm not worried. And then I actually think Michigan got the weakest 2 seed in the field. I think Iowa State is the weakest 2. I know they weren't ranked as such. I don't think like Virginia is one of those teams. Like I don't think they're great either. Like that they don't strike the fear in me. I think Michigan cruises to the Final Four. When you look at the predictions market, Michigan has the highest percentage chance of anyone in the field to make the Final Four. So Vegas is feeling similar to how I'm feeling right now. So Michigan has the highest percentage chance of any team in the field to make the Final Four, which it's always been Final Four or bust for them. I do think you'll see with them losing today and just not looking really crisp in the Big Ten tournament. I do think you will see the public fade away from them, which I really like. But in terms of sharp money, I expect them to recognize the great draw, and think Michigan will make the adjustments and bounce back.
Yeah, and just to touch on what you said with Michigan losing, since COVID, only one team that has won their conference championship has gone on to win the big tournament. So losing the conference tournament has actually been like a yellow flag. It's not necessarily like it's not a 1-for-1. It means you're a good team if you make it to the championship and win it. But usually those teams, that's not a predictor of winning March Madness. And so both Florida and Michigan lost their conference tournaments, whereas Duke and I believe Arizona won theirs. And so that makes it so are those the teams that lose? Michigan did make it to the championship game, so they have similar amount of minutes played leading up to the tournament. But something that to consider as you're filling out your bracket, that just because you win your conference tournament does not mean that you are going to win the big tournament.
Yeah, it was definitely that used to be like a better indicator in the 2010s. Like I remember like those UConn teams with like Kemba Walker that got hot when the conference, Shabazz Napier, like those UConn teams would be like middle of the top 25 and they would get hot when their conference tournament and carry it over. We've definitely seen less of it within the last 5-6 years. So that's a good point out there. All right, boys. Let's move into our second topic in our Degen on Sports segment. It's the Gambling Gurus.
Gambling Gurus Weekend Bets.
All right, so we're finally back to making bets that will count and will matter in terms of the betting, the second betting interval for the potential punishment. Last week, Dun Diesel, back-to-back winners. Cavs Thunder money line, easy winner. I was the only man on the show that gave you guys a winner last week. Snickle Fritz filling in for Corporal had the Knicks -1.5. That was an L. And Beach had the Cavs Sixers over, which was also a loss. We look to rebound, get back on track, give you guys a 3-for-3 and a winning group parlay. But before we get into our picks, we are going to take a stroll down the PPP, the potential punishment pool. We're looking to add more into it. So each of us is going to go around the horn with a punishment suggestion and a vote. Majority rules. Whether it will get added in to something that can potentially be assigned to the loser of one of these betting intervals. All right, young Richard, lead us off. What do you got for us in terms of your punishment suggestion?
All right, so my punishment suggestion this week is pretend to be a news reporter and give a broadcast in public.
I mean, I like the premise of there, but I guess I need some more details to it. Like, am I at an anchor desk? Am I just kind of doing there's a cameraman there and I'm just got a microphone and I'm talking in front of some people? Like, if we give it some parameters, I think this has some novelty to it that could work out.
Are you?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think it might be more if you, like you touched on a couple things. Like, I mean, if you're sitting at a desk, I think that might, like in public, I think that might be might make it more, entertaining and more funny.
Well, logistically, that's hard to pull off, though. Like, where are we getting said desk, and like, there's more logistics there. My question was going to be, and to where I think this could be really good. I think you have to interview someone under the guise that you're with a local station and they're going to be on the news. I
Yeah,
think
I like that. Come up with some fake
I,
credentials. I'm with the Channel 7
yeah,
News.
yeah,
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
talk
You
to
got
some
a
of the.
yeah, you got a badge, and you're pulling people in on the streets with a topic that is designated by the winner.
Winners.
And then yeah, I think you could come up with I think you could come up with some really good stuff pulling people in on the street and them thinking they were going to be on the the news with and then you hit them with a wild question like just something off the map. And I think that could be I think that could be electric. And then the the time output would be you have to do it until you interview X amount of people to complete
Right.
it.
Yeah, I think that's got some good laughs tied to it. I like that. I'll vote for a yes.
So I do want to follow up one more thing. I love it. I think it's funny. It would be great content. How can we make it a little bit more embarrassing for the person doing the interview? Is it just that the topic's going to be completely egregious?
The other
And
two people got to have the topics and the questions, and maybe you don't know what you're asking people until you like are
5
about to
minutes
interview
before.
them. Yeah,
and then I do also like if you laugh like that don't count. Like so if I bring it in and I'm the guy doing the interview and then I laugh while I'm reading the question, like that don't count towards your total.
yeah,
And like you
something
said,
like
set
that.
it at a
There's
certain,
got
set it at 20
yeah,
people or something, and you can't, like you said, you can't laugh, can't break character.
20's a lot, man.
Yeah.
That's like maybe you get a group of 5 and like 3 of them will actually talk to you, but depending on where you're at, 20 you'll be out there all day.
I mean, you have to go to some type of downtown area on like a Sunday afternoon where like people are like a downtown Plymouth or something that jumps
I was
off to
gonna
me
say,
like
yeah,
where people
downtown Plymouth or Northville
like
or something.
downtown Plymouth, you could get 20 people easy. Downtown Brighton, just something like that where people are actually out, they're walking, and you can pull them in. But I think I like it overall enough that it's definitely got some legs. So I would be a yes.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's 2 yeses, so
All right, Corp, what do you got?
so I was thinking something of along the lines of like a draft day butler. Like during one of our drafts, you know, we do enough drafts where we have drafts that the other casters aren't in. And so you would come to a draft that I'm having, like if it's my league and it's beach, he can come and he is my butler. Go get me my beverage, go make me a sandwich, all the things that you would do for a butler. Go put the sticker on the board for me, butler. All these things that come along with the draft day, where it's a long day and now you get stuck, toting on the other person that has won. And I feel like that could be something that is maybe more enjoyable for the winner than it is for the loser, but it's something that I feel like there's something to that. There's a way to kind of elaborate that and make that even more of a intense day. Maybe you have to dress up in a
I was gonna say you have
You
to
know,
dress up as a butler, carry around the plate.
I mean, the butler gear would have to be 100%, 100% a part of it.
Now, is it only going to be like your personal butler at the draft, or is it going to be for
Well, if
everybody?
I had a personal butler and I'm hanging out with my buddies, you're probably taking care of my buddies too.
Yeah, that's where I mean, this would suck for the person. This is a shitty punishment. You would not want to get this one, and it would be very gratifying um, for the winner. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm torn. I like this one sucks, dude.
And I
Like this
also
was
think that maybe having some you have to give some video dialogue, video diary throughout the day, so that way we're capturing some of these feelings that you're going through as the butler of somebody, because that way you video of this sucks balls, and I'm gonna be, hey, ring my bell, ding 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 ding, I'm ready for another beverage.
What do you think, Rick?
I'm gonna have to say yeah. Voting yes.
I like it, but I don't want to do it. So I selfishly would have voted no, but my vote does not matter. So it's into the pool. It is into the pool, and that is one of those that I hope I do not get. Because I mean, you're talking 4 or 5 hours live draft of being someone's straight bitch. It's just, oh man. Okay, I hope don't assign that one to me. All right. So we were talking golf a little bit earlier, segueing into my suggestion. So my potential punishment suggestion is you have to take a golf lesson with your opposite hand clubs, but you have to do it 100% serious. You can't tell the instructor, you can't, nothing. You just have to show up. We would arrange it in advance. So I think we're all righties. So we would arrange a left-handed set in advance, or maybe it's even better if you rent one at the place you're taking the lessons at. And then pretty much just have to go out there and make a mockery of yourself for an hour.
Yeah, I mean,
while this guy is literally wondering what the fuck is going on.
the instructor will make or break this, and his level of tolerance with what is happening is going to be the difference if this is something that is funny or just tragic.
Hey, I mean,
Well,
I guess he would still be getting paid.
he's getting paid. Yeah, I just I think the humor in this, like, yeah, would be a couple things, right? How many people are around while you're doing the lesson, right? Because like we've all been to the range, or you're doing, like, dude, if you're shanking, like, it can get embarrassing. Like, it's a rough feel, and like you cannot break character. So you're out there just looking like a complete putz. And then I think the humor in it is definitely the instructor's reaction. Like that's would be what we were capturing in terms of the content. It's just getting that guy's face after you continue to attempt to hit shot after shot that I'm guessing is not going to go
Yeah,
very well.
I'd imagine it'd be hard not to laugh at yourself, but you can't break kayfabe. You gotta like completely be like, no,
No,
I'm
yeah,
lefty. I'm not going the other side, because
no.
there's a little bit of like certain things you can maybe get away with lefty, but like golf is different. And like,
Golf is not one of them, dude. Like if you were like, hey, you got to play basketball. Like, there's a lot of things I feel like I could do left-handed. I feel like the chances of me being able to hit a golf ball left-handed with any type of like legitimate consistent contact is next to zero.
I'm just visualizing Beach doing his like stance and like how he like, and it's just like I don't know how that's gonna work when he when he does. I mean, Beach is a good golfer, but like he has a unique way of golfing that works for him.
The toe fade king, man. Well, you know, it'd be funny. Like Rick hits him straight lefty. Like no no
Yeah.
hook, no
Like,
fade.
crush it. You've lefty your whole life, man.
Oh well, I'm officially a left-handed golfer now.
So what are we thinking?
I'll give it a yes.
Yeah. How long is a typical?
Like Corp said, I think it's an hour.
Yeah, lessons an hour.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
the length of the punishment wouldn't be bad.
The length wouldn't be bad. Like I said, I don't think it would be like for the guy doing it. I think your biggest challenge would be not breaking character, and then how many people are around. They're just thinking you're an absolute fucking putz for that hour. Would be would be pretty tough. And I think the other guys there can make it worse on the guy going through it, right? You start bringing in extra people, extra eyes, and just magnifying it up. So I think it'd be fun.
Are the other two guys going to be there, like next to the person going through it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it could even be fun. It could even be potentially more fun if the other guys were taking lessons as well with their correct hand.
Yeah, or even like just act like, hey, we're at the bar, and we're watching this guy, and we're starting to haggle the person that's
Yeah.
getting the crowd to like, look, come watch this guy.
Yeah. So, all right. We go 3 for 3. We got another 3 added into the PPP. The list is growing. Whoever does win this segment is going to have many of options to choose and to assign to that miserable loser. Okay, boys, let's get into the picks.
The Diesel Diamond.
The hottest better on the pod, back-to-back winners. I'm going to make it 3 in a row for you guys. There's not a doubt. Get this bet into the queue. Get it placed. We're doing a little puck. The Wings play the lowly dog shit Calgary Flames at LCA tomorrow. The Wings have been ridiculed for falling apart in March. They desperately need a win. It's that simple. Wings money line minus 180. Book it. It's a lock.
The Hardwood King.
All right, so I got the it's going to be NBA Rockets Lakers over 223.5 at minus 110. The Rockets and Lakers have both been playing good lately, scoring a lot. The last time these two teams played, the over under was 231.5 and is now 223.5, and I think it's went up a point, maybe a point and a half since earlier. So you want to get this in soon.
We have to get technical on you, young Richard. It is 225.5. That will be your official line.
Okay, 225.5. All right. See, like I said, last time these two teams played, the over under was 231.5. So whether
we've already saw. Okay,
What's
go
that?
ahead. I was going to say, so we already saw 2 points of movement. So this is one of those get in quick because you expect this to keep rising.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's already went up. It's already went up 2 points, and the spread just came out hours ago. So
okay, beautiful.
So whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it because it's the best thing going today. Get on the money train with the King. Stop playing catch up ball. From Friday to Sunday, the King was 29-13. You can catch all these bets on X at Alphas Talk Pod and Facebook at Alphas Talk Podcast. And the money train isn't always going to be free forever. So get on the money train with the King now.
Hey, this run that the King is on, in all seriousness, is a generational run. 29-13 over the last 3 days. Every single one of those bets have been posted on Twitter, on X, at Alphas Talk Pod. This is crazy, guys. This would be buried behind paywall in normal circumstance. This guy is giving out generational wealth for free right now. Get on the train.
Yeah, and to speak to that, these are types of bets that are like educated bets where he's taking overs and combining them into a parlay that makes sense, that will hit because of the likelihood of these plays. These aren't like pulling them out of his butt and he's guessing. Like, these are educated bets that he's placing and that he's showing you. You should be following him like we are.
Get on that money train, baby. All right. We're shifting in. He's back.
The Prowler Picks.
Let's go. It is finally here. Wednesday. We kick it off. Basketball. March Madness, the way we like it. Everybody playing for the next game. I kind of touched on this a little earlier. Miami, Ohio is playing in the play-in game. I think that they will not only cover but win this game, but I will take them 8.5 on FanDuel right now. I already placed my bet on that. I think that is an easy slam dunk, no brainer. 31-1 team. They're not going to get the love. The analytics don't love them because of who they've played, but this is a team that what they do well, travels well. They take care of the ball. They're going to find ways to score. I think they move on, and they're going to be facing another team that they can beat in Tennessee, a team that has struggles to score. So I think Miami of Ohio plus 8.5, minus 110.
I like it. This is, you talk about something to prove. This team has everything to prove. 8.5 is a good number. Even if they don't win, I like their chances of covering. I like it. I like it. All right. So this is how it shakes down for the group parlay. It's Wings money line, Miami of Ohio plus 8.5, Rockets, Lakers over the number. That currently right now on DraftKings is plus 471. Get it in there. We're due to pop one of these. It's going to be this week. I'm guaranteeing the Wings win. I feel good. You're seeing 2 points of line movement off the guy on a generational heater, 29-13 in his last 42 bets. Corporal fresh off vacation, Miami of Ohio, plus 8 in the hook with something to prove. Get that bankroll up. Get on this money train. This parlay is absolutely hitting. All right. We are entering segment number 2. It's the Alphas in action.
Question of the week.
Question of the week. This is the group text water cooler happy hour thing that you and your boys have been debating, discussing, and dying to get that alpha perspective on. I am going to lead us off, and I am going to stay on cadence in terms of the calendar, and we're talking St. Paddy's Day. So my question for the group is, at what age does St. Paddy's Day, going out for St. Paddy's Day, lose its luster, if ever?
So I'll jump in first here. For me, I would have to say probably. I mean, I haven't been out. I've been out here and there in the last probably 10 years for St. Paddy's Day, but not very much. I would probably say like it probably loses its luster like in your mid 20s to where you have like you go start out first thing in the morning, 7 o'clock, catch I mean, I don't even know if they have that anymore. Like B-dubs used to have the quarter beers and then they would go up to $1, making myself sound
Quarter
fucking old as
beers
shit right now.
definitely have not been a thing in like 10 years.
Yeah.
But Rick aging himself a little bit there, the old man on the pod. But so you're going mid 20s?
I would say, yeah, probably it's like 25 probably.
Okay. All right. That's young. I'm curious on Corporal's answer.
Similarly, it's more of when life changes. And so for me, it was I had less time. I chose March Madness over St. Paddy's Day. I can't take off 4 or 5 days in a row. Back when we were younger, we were St. Paddy's Day into March Madness. And every once in a while, you get lucky and you get you get both on one day, and that works out for you. But for me, it was when the green poops lasted about 4 days, and I was like, okay, I can't. There was one night where we were going to stay up all night again, and we didn't make it till like 10 o'clock. Everybody was like falling asleep at the bar. And I was like, okay, we probably don't need a 7 a.m. start. those things have kind of started to lose its luster. We wanted to have like an after party and nobody could hang, and like year after year, the group went from a large group to a smaller group, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And so it's more of, okay, people have obligations outside of this, and it does start to happen in the 20s, but I would say for sure by the 30s you should be kind of, it's lost its luster, and it kind of needs to change its angle and how you approach that.
So I think Corp, I think you nailed it there. So I think in your 20, so I think Rick's young on 25. I think in your 20s, man, especially the first 5 years that you're 4 or 5 years you're legally drinking. You want to drink all day, right? You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. So you try to pull off that 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. And I think I completed that twice in my go hard tenure. Then you get older, you get wiser, you realize it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and just that drinking for what's the math on there for 19 hours is probably not realistic. So you pull back the reins in your late 20s. I think the reason that it does lose its luster in your 30s, it's because your group shrinks. So I think that's where you really nailed it, man. In your early 20s, mid 20s, you got a lot of St. Patty's Day warriors with you. You got your boys, you got the family, you got the extended family, you have a big group, and that big group brings the energy, helps boost the party. And like you said, that just wanes each year because of life, right? Because of kids, because of relationships, because of jobs. So I think organically the answer is in your 30s. And it's not because the holiday. I think St. Patty's Day is an awesome holiday. I think there's a lot of people out there that have to choose. It's either St. Patty's Day or the first couple days of the tournament, and which you're going to take the tournament over St. Patty's. For most that love sports, and then I just think it's like I said, it's just that group dwindles. Like if I hit up the boys, if I hit up our 8-10 friends in the group text right now and said, hey, who wants to go out Tuesday for St. Patty's Day? How many yeses do you think I'd get?
Not many.
Maybe one.
I'm with you. Maybe one, maybe, and it
If
would
you,
probably be Mitch with a hour and a half window.
yeah, at dinner time or at
Yeah,
like a food time and a specific place that
and
would fit.
that's conducive for him, a 90-minute window that fit into his schedule. But you know what I mean? So it's just like it's schedule restrictive, and people get older. Now I do think this is the one caveat I'm going to make. I do think it makes a comeback in your 50s. So I know that sounds crazy, but I think the kids are gone. You got more flexibility and freedom. I do think that's why I think you see such the gap and discrepancy in crowd. If you look at the average crowd on St. Patty's Day, it's normally a ton of people in their 20s and then a ton of people 50 plus. So I do think it makes a renaissance in the 50s, where it's a lot easier to prioritize and get people back together. And it becomes one of those, like, let's get the crew back together and tie one on and drink some green booze. So, all right, Corp, what do you got for us?
So my question of the week here is: do you guys fall asleep watching TV or a screen, or do you need silence, darkness, and maybe even one of those sound machines to fall asleep?
So I'll go first. I definitely am a TV guy. I like the the sound. I actually like listening until I drift off into that unconsciousness. So I don't like growing up, like whenever we traveled, my dad is 100% shut everything off, sleep in the pitch black guy. And I fucking hated that, because then you're just sitting there left with your thoughts and you're like, this blows. So I watch TV until I'm tired. Once I'm tired, it depends if it's like a show or a series that I don't need to miss stuff on, where I can't afford to miss stuff. If so, I will pause and then put on something that it doesn't matter. Generally, my go-to is history, history channel, history related content, something like that. Like nothing puts me to sleep like a baby more than like a World War II documentary or something like that. So I love that type of shit. So I'll generally put on the History Channel or something along some type of documentary along those lines. And they start talking about the Civil War or George Washington or whatever it may be. And I start thinking about that point in life, and I'm Zing out 2 minutes later. So the answer for me is definitely.
It's a yes for me, dog.
Yeah, same for me too. I need TV, something, and just like my dad's was always the same way. Pitch black, would sleep with the fucking covers over his head. It's like, come on, like this is awful. But yeah, I need the TV. And I'm sleep with one all year round. Still, I need the fan. I need the
Yeah.
fan to
Yeah.
sleep. Have to
Yeah.
have the fan.
Yeah. No
Like
one wants.
I need the. I don't even want just the the breeze. I need the noise.
I want to know if Corporal's a pitch black sleeper, because I think those pitch black sleepers got a little bit of psychopath tendencies to them.
No, so I had the opposite growing up. My dad, we would be watching like Cheers or whatever as we fell asleep. So I've
Yeah.
always had a TV on. When I was younger, it was Family Guy. Wake up in the middle of the Man Show. Like, okay, this is cool. And, I've always had the TV on. And even now, my wife doesn't want that on. And so I've had to like earbud it in phone and figure out how do I sleep timer this. My current show is MASH. I put on MASH and I'm out in like 5 minutes. But
Yeah.
if I don't have it on, I'm up all night. It's like, oh, how is it 1 o'clock? Oh, I'm not watching anything. And it is, like you said with the history, that I've gone through all the World War II in color. I've seen it all, or I've slept
Yeah.
through it all.
Yep.
There's certain stuff that I'm like, all right, this is a bedtime show that I will fall asleep to, and I don't care to go find what place I left off at. Like,
Yep.
and so right now I'm going through MASH. I'll finish that in a month or however long. There's a ton of episodes. That one's kind of nostalgic. I watched it with my dad growing up, so it's like I kind of remember the characters, but it's really because I don't care if I fall asleep. I hit the play button. I found out that you can use the timer on your clock app, and it'll just shut down all apps after 30 minutes. So it's like a sleep timer for Disney Plus that doesn't have its own sleep timer built in, or Netflix. And so, but I've had to do like these weird things because my better half doesn't want the TV on. We don't even have a TV in the bedroom now. And so it's like, okay.
That's brutal.
Yeah, on vacation, I was like, at least I'm so tired that when I get to bed, I'm exhausted, and so it's a different vibe there.
So she's got the psychopath tendencies, though. She's a pitch black sleeper.
Yeah, she can fall asleep to it on. It keeps her up when it's on through the night, and so before when we had the TV on, it just had to have the sleep timer on, and that's
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's comforting, dude. Like, even say I wake up in the middle of the night, like, and it's still going. I'm like, oh, like, well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't acknowledge, but I like that it's still playing. I don't know. But you brought up a good one. Sitcoms, like old sitcoms, are good for that too. Like Friends or The Wonder Years or something of that sort, where you can just drift off. But when I was growing up, it was definitely Sports Center. I would just
oh my god, Sports Center.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Sports Center on replay, and then you wake up and you're like, man, this is the third time that I've heard this specific San Antonio Spurs highlight going on. But yeah, I do not know how people sleep in the pitch black. Like that's a no.
I've had I don't like the sound machine, and all our kids have sound machines, and so at some point I've gotten used to it, but it would make me sleep worse. And like then I'd like fall asleep on the couch. I'm like, oh, I slept so good. No sound machine. Like, how do the kids do it?
Yeah, for all the people out there listening that are saying like, "Oh, it's terrible for your brain. You don't hit your deep REM sleep." Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I just like I know they say like the sound machine helps you get to the deep REM and it's a better quality of sleep, except yada yada yada. I know what's actually going to help me get the hours of sleep that I need, and it's TV on.
100%. Like, if without it, then I'm not getting the hours of sleep leading up to the REM
No,
sleep.
no, I'm tossing and turning and thinking how bad this sucks the entire time. Way to bring back some childhood memories, Corp. There. All right, young Richard, what do you got for us?
So, if you won the lottery, what would be your first major reckless purchase?
Yeah, that's a fun one. Especially that it's got to be reckless, and you're not like, oh, I'm gonna pay all my bills off. It's reckless, right? Me having 4 kids and a family, something that is like a ridiculous RV, something that is like the yacht of RVs to go on a massive, like, we're just traveling the US. We're you know, you can do the jet, I guess, but like that kind of takes away some of the luster of the travel point. And so to have like the big RV, not just like the one you can go out and get now, like we're talking the luxurious one, something that is like unnecessarily big, spacious, something like that, where it would be like we're watching TV the whole trip, we're getting off, and it doesn't feel like we're on a car ride at all to where we were going. Something like that seems like pretty cool to have. That would be like reckless. That like at no point am I paying for that right now. Not the, at least in my mind, not the type that we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, a boat, a yacht's always a great answer. Definitely was in consideration for me. The one I landed on a little bit more reckless than yours, and I don't think the misses would like it. But if I just won the lottery, I really don't give a shit. Um, and I don't know where. So the only question would be where, but I would buy a strip club. I think I would buy a strip club. I think,
I did not see that coming.
yep, I think I would buy a strip club. I think it would be fun. I think it would be a great place to be like, hey, boys, I wouldn't buy it where I lived, like in my home residency. It'd be like, we're hopping in the private jet. We're going to whatever city, if it's Vegas or somewhere nice. Like maybe I pop one up in the Caribbean. I'd be like, hey, boys, let's get in the jet. We're going down there. And then let's go to my establishment. And the great thing there is you can make the case that it's a great investment. Like this is something that's bringing money back to you. So it's not like one of those sunk things like your yacht that's just like a money pit. This is actually something that's giving you ROI, and that would be my sell, and that would be my buy.
Nice. So mine would be where Corp's at. But I would buy it would be an extended vacation, flying of course, or maybe driving, but all the places that I haven't been in the United States or outside the United States that I've always wanted to go to. Like a 3-month vacation and just go to all these different spots for a certain amount of time.
But that's your life now, though, Rick. Like I think like I assume if you're saying like you won the lottery, like you're talking like the Mega Millions or Powerball or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think you could just live that for the rest of your life, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that fits the reckless category. I think you could just travel whenever the hell you want forever.
Not forever, no. I don't think
If you,
I wouldn't want to travel forever.
I'd be going to every sporting event. I'd be all over the place constantly and not working ever.
I mean, no, I'm never working. I'm never working. Rick, I think we gotta loosen the bear back up. Rick has gotten conservative in his old age. Reckless for him is a 3-month fucking travel around the world?
Can't do it forever.
Rick's,
I mean, what is it?
Rick
Oh
just,
man, I'd go out and buy a fucking Lamborghini. Is that better?
yeah, just something that just gets the testosterone flowing a little bit. Rick's he won the lotto. He's going to Europe, and it's reckless. Like, of course you're gonna travel. You just won the fucking lotto. All right, and this is the ad. So, Corporal, you were gone. We have added the Alpha Army listener question of the week. We want to get more Army audience involvement. We want to know what you guys are thinking and let us help you out with that definitive Alpha perspective. The Alpha's Army's question of the week is favorite March Madness memory.
So
Boys?
I'll jump in first here. I'll have to say in 2018 when Jordan Poole was a freshman on Michigan, hit the dramatic game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer, defeating Houston, which was also on St. Patty's Day. And they also went to the national championship game that year, but they didn't win. But yeah, that's my favorite memory.
That is a good one, Rick. That was one I know I was at home watching. Michigan had the late game. I think that was like a 10 o'clock start. I believe we were in the West. That was like a 10 or 10:30 start. I was back home. I don't remember if I went out for St. Patty's that year. But that was one that I woke up my entire household screaming. So that is definitely a good one. And if you were out with people or for the St. Patty's Day crowd that hung on and was still out at the bar, that's fire. That's a really good one. Curious what Corp's coming in with.
That team was a really special team for me. It was like the last year I had Michigan basketball tickets, season tickets. And so that was a cool run for Michigan to make that. Me and my dad got them for about 5-6 years. And it was like leading up to that moment. And we really liked that squad. But I think my most recent favorite was the run UNC had with Caleb Love. And not because I'm a fan of them or what, but it made my wife a fan of college basketball, and seeing a team like that go deep, make a run. It was fun for her. She got on the bandwagon, and from that point on, she really enjoys March Madness. And so that like set the tone for what she expects out of March Madness, and what type of feelings it gave her, and seeing her excitement of, oh my God, he had another one. They're coming back. He's carrying the whole team, and seeing Caleb Love, up until they lost, I think, to Kansas, just like being like lights out as a Cinderella, a team that's, not typically a Cinderella, but they shouldn't have been there. And they made a nice run, and it was fun, and it gave a lot of excitement to somebody that really didn't like basketball at all. And to kind of see that transform her into a fan of March Madness, and she's looking forward to it every year as we get through football season. It's like, okay, it's March Madness time. We start watching the games and getting up to speed. And so that really goes back to like finding these moments to get somebody like her or my kids to really enjoy sports. And for me, that's a memorable time when, she became a fan of college basketball. It was cool to see live.
Yeah, I would that's why this is a cool question. I would have never guessed in a million years you're going Caleb Love. That was definitely not on my big board. But it means something to you. And that's, I think, what this question is about. For me, I really like Rick's answer, but for me, it was definitely when Trey Burke hit that three from the fucking parking lot against Kansas. That was the first time in a long time that Michigan basketball was good, and we should not have won that game, but Trey Burke was the best player on the court. He was the best player in the country and just hit an all-time shot. And we go on to beat Kansas. It's one of those I remember where I was. We were at a hole-in-the-wall bar called Stockdale's, and the place just went nuts. It was unbelievable. I still think it's one of the, if you're a Michigan fan, it's a marquee moment, but just even a college basketball fan, that's one of those. If you were putting together the top 30 plays of March Madness of all time, like that 100% makes the cut, in my opinion. So that one is great. Michigan made it all the way to the title game and ended up losing to Pitino's fraudulent Louisville team. And yes, that was a block. Trey Burke on Peyton Siva. I have not let that go, and I think it was 13 years ago. So I'm still holding on to that one. All right. We are shifting into the next segment in the Alphas in Action. It's the recommendation of the week.
Weekly recommendation.
All right. I will kick us off here. I'm coming to you guys with some heat. Buffalo Wild Wings has a limited time sauce right now. It's March Madness. It's wing time. It is the sweet chili crisp. It is a great Asian taste. It has the perfect amount of sweet, the perfect amount of heat. It is a great complement to pair with an Asian zing or something of that nature. This sauce is absolutely phenomenal. It's the best sauce that B-Dubs has put out in a decade. I don't see how they don't make this a permanent add to the menu. We can sit here for days and argue B-Dubs' actual wing quality, but what B-Dubs is elite at is they are a sauce company. They are not a wing company. They are a sauce company. And this one is absolutely phenomenal. Go out there, grab you some B-Dubs at some point over this next 4 days stretch that we got coming in for the tournament, Thursday to Sunday. Get the sweet chili crisp and thank me. It's great. All right, Court, where you got recommendation of the week?
My recommendation this week is going to be Peaky Blinders on Netflix. I think this is a great show. The final movie is coming out next Friday, so you got a lot to look forward to. It's placed in a post World War One England world, and it is kind of got like some mob gangster feels to it. It's the timeline for me is what really makes it nice because it predates all the technology. It's not so far in the past that you don't have guns or you don't have, but these are revolvers and you're able to see the gap between World War One and World War Two and different things. They have phones, but it's not easy to get a hold of somebody. You got to be there. There's a lot of unique ways of thinking that were going on back then that word of mouth, newspapers, those were the key talking points. And so you could get away with murder. It wasn't like there was a camera on every street. And so there are things that the police were corrupt or some of them were overly good. There's all these elements that really play a part into making this one of the top tier shows. And if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch.
So I started Peaky. I liked the overall premise of the show. I didn't finish it. The only thing I would say and what drove me nuts is the accents, like the heavy accent is my only criticism. So
I think early on they do a lot more of the gypsy talk and those accents, and as you get further into it, it's more of a refined English speaking tone. And but there are some really difficult speakers on there that actors that speak with a dialect that is difficult to understand if you're not ready for it. You have to pay attention.
Yeah, So that was my only criticism. I like the actual content of the show. I'm like, fuck, these accents are heavy. And I know that's the period thereafter. It always has been on my list for like a circle back in terms of like, hey, I don't got nothing else. This is something that I could revisit. So I do like hearing that the accents, the hard accents, drop as you progress, because that was just the thing that annoyed me and derailed me from going any further. I think I did make it into season 2 or 3, but yeah. Rick, any peaky exposure?
I have not watched it yet, but I will definitely give it a shot.
All right, Mr. Hardwood, what do you got for us?
All right, so this week my recommendation is country music artist Zach Top. Man, this guy puts out pure '90s banger vibes with songs like "I Never Lie," "Sounds Like the Radio," "Good Times," and "Tan Lines." This guy, I mean, it's just. I thought at first I was talking to one of my buddies a couple years ago when I first heard him sing, and it's like, man, he reminds me of we both agreed on it. We're like, man, he reminds me of like someone like Alan Jackson. And then, but I saw was listening to him the other day at work, pulled him up on YouTube, and I was like, and Brooks and Dunn popped up. I'm like, holy shit, like this, that can be like his almost identical twin brother. He looks exactly like him. But
yeah,
Zach Top.
He definitely does look like Kix Brooks. He definitely does have that Alan Jackson vibe and feel. Highly endorse this recommendation. This is a guy that I was on from day one, and I think his star will continue to grow because 90s country is the mecca of country. That's that GOAT era, and he puts you right back there in 2026, 2025, etc., whatever. But yeah, he brings you back, man, and it's authentic. It's not forced. Yeah, big fan.
Yeah, and if you like when you first hear his music, you literally think like this guy sounds like he's been around since the '90s.
Yeah, and then you realize the dude's young. You're like
Yeah.
this don't make sense. I think he's not even 30, or he's around there. But yeah, he's fire, man. So if you like country music, you'll like Zach Top. There's no doubt about it. All right, we are going into our third and final segment of the Alphas in Action. It's the power stance.
Power stance.
All right, young Richard, we're going to start it off with you. First and foremost, I need your best power stance. Let's hear it.
Power stance.
I think this just has to be an every week thing where before you give your power stance, you have to give the actual vocal on the power stance. If we got any new listeners out there, to let you know what the power stance is, it's a non-sports, non-religion, non-politics matter of fact. This isn't an opinion level take. This is something you take it to the bank. There's no question in this. This is from the Alpha Authority, and you put it in the books. All right, young Richard, you gave us that great power stance vocal. Or should I call you Mr. Positive, Mr. Inspirational with this power stance?
So, my power stance of the week is no matter what it is, your goal, your dream, never give up. You have to fail to succeed. So go for your goal, go for your dream.
I feel like is this something we should have started the slow clap on? you need people in the locker room going, yeah! Never give up.
Never give up. Never surrender.
The GOAT. In the words of the GOAT of wrestling, John Cena, never give up.
All right, you heard it here first from Mr. Positive, Mr. Inspirational, Young Richard. All right, Corp. I know you're on the voiceover, but start us off with your vocal. Let's hear it.
Power stance.
Got some good grit there. I like it. I like it. What do you got for us this week?
The ultimate reset is going off the grid. No Wi-Fi, no sports, no screens, no phones. You remember what matters, then come back sharper. It was the ultimate reset. I would have never done it had I been forced to, but it will give you the peace of mind and clarity you need to make the next choice.
Yeah, so I like that you put this. It's timely. I did it. Were you complete? You didn't have. Were you not on your phone? Like you didn't have Wi-Fi. You didn't have service. Like because
None,
I
zero.
definitely, yeah, I definitely commented in the group text. I said I've never seen anyone go off the grid like Corporal went off the grid. So when this guy tells you he was off the grid,
I
he
mean, I
was
couldn't
off the
even.
grid.
You're taking a shit and you can't even play a game on your phone. I mean, there's nothing. Like you're just like your phone is just a paperweight. It's got the wrong time and the wrong. It's not even useful. Like it was like we're carrying it as a camera at that point.
Yeah. So I mean that brought you back, man. Like you're not old enough to where like you lived adult life without your phone, but that definitely brought you back to like high school, like early high
For
school.
sure. I mean, it was just one of those things that like we had the family and the activity we were doing, and that was it. They had TVs on the boat where you could watch whatever game was on, but we're doing family time stuff. I got young kids, and so I don't have time to watch that, and I don't get to choose the game. I don't get to place a bet. I don't get to look at the lines. I don't get to like. I mean, as simple as like playing a game while you wait for somebody. Okay, everybody waiting for mom to get out of the shower. I'll play like a stupid phone game, and like just got completely axed out of the schedule and the agenda, and we came up with other fun things to do, and as simple as teaching my kids how to play the thumb war. You
Yeah.
know, just like things that we used to do
Right.
in the car waiting for someone to come out of the grocery store.
Yeah, yeah. This generation of kids, man, they do not understand what it was like for us growing up when you had to entertain yourself. Like there was, yeah, like that they just have constant entertainment at all times. Or you're close, whether they have a tablet or access to a device of some sort, man. It's just like, and it's just constant stimulation, constant entertainment. Like back in the day, we had to really make some shit work at times because if not, we were going to be bored as shit.
Right.
All right. My power stance of the week is this: procrastination kills. So if you are one of those people out there that procrastinates, stop. And what I'm going to tell you to do is to adopt the 5-minute rule. So this is one of those things that absolutely will change your life. There is no doubt about it. The 5-minute rule is if it takes 5 minutes or less, you do it right then and there. You don't punt it. You don't plan it out for a later date. You take care of it and get it off your plate. The thing is, if you add up a bunch of things that take under 5 minutes, they end up creating a massive amount of time. And what ends up happening is you don't end up doing anything close to a large percentage of them. So you want to be efficient, you want to maximize your time, your follow-up, your effort in whatever you're doing. The 5-minute rule will absolutely do that. It will change your life. Emails, text, simple things around the house, whether it's things for your work, things for your family, things for your hobbies. If it takes 5 minutes or less, just fucking do it. Quit putting it off. That's lazy. Don't be a bitch. Get it done.
100% agree. As somebody that struggles with procrastination for most of my life, I adopted this before I knew what it was. I was like, if I can do it in a short period of time, I'm just going to do it now because it's never going to get done. simple as like putting my laundry away. Like
Yep.
it's done now. Okay. That actually took, 5 minutes, but I had to do the laundry, the trash. Now I have a big list of things to do, when if I would have done each thing in the 5 minutes that it was available, I could have had it done and had been able to be where I wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah. If it takes 5 minutes or less and you physically have the time to do so, do it right then and there. Obviously, there's going to be instances where you physically don't have the time. Those are exceptions, not the rule. Live by the motherfucking rule. Thank me later. All right. This wraps up episode 9 in the books. We got a special March Madness episode dropping on Wednesday for big episode number 10. We will be your definitive alpha source for all things tournament, all things madness. As always, I am your host, Dun Diesel, signing out and reminding you, don't be a beta. Alphas out.